Welcome back to LBG Reviews. Please be sure to like and subscribe. This week we'll be talking about Viewfinder. Viewfinder is a puzzle platformer made by Sad Owl Studios. The game sees your main character entering a simulation created by a bunch of researchers in an attempt to solve climate change on the mission to track down said invention that the researchers created years prior. The game is built around cameras, pictures, and overall photography. The game starts off with you picking up simple pictures, holding them up, and then being able to place them into the world almost like you're placing a doorway. From there, you have to use these mechanics to solve mind-bending puzzles to make your way to teleporters so you can progress from level to level. Eventually, new mechanics are introduced, such as photocopiers, having to collect batteries to power up the teleporters. Then you eventually gain access to your own camera that you can then take your own pictures with. Then eventually you have to make use of cameras on stands, and then you have to use these mechanics to progress as you learn more and more about the researchers who built the simulation. After the first world, you meet the AI companion, Kate. Kate has a pretty simple name and appearance because he is literally a cat, and if you take out the I in Kate, he is just called Cat. As you progress, you eventually learn that the researchers' invention failed. This over time led to the researchers slowly abandoning their simulation. Then after that, you have to figure out a way to get out of the simulation because your partner back in the real world can't pull you out because you're seemingly off the radar of the simulation at this point. So then you have to go through a challenging final level where you have to take everything that you've learned previously and activate the simulation's failsafe. At the end of the failsafe, you find a singular growing plant, a singular sprout in soil in front of a dead tree. From there, a doorway opens, you walk out, and your partner greets you back to reality, and then immediately realizes that you've got a plant in your hands, and then credits roll. I would compare this game to a game called The Talos Principle, which I'll eventually have to review on my channel, but anyways, within the Talos Principle, there's a main philosophical question that the game is revolving around. And while the game Viewfinder does have a similar format in that way, its philosophical question also has a grander scope. In the Talos Principle, the main philosophical question is essentially, are you sure you're human? In Viewfinder, the main philosophical question is, just because there's seemingly only one answer, is that really the only way? Now that we're done with the main gimmicks of Viewfinder and talking about its story, I would like to mention the accessibility features. Viewfinder has a bunch of different accessibility options, and when you first open the options menu, that is the first menu that is presented to you. It presents you with options for remapping buttons, adjusting the color, size, and other features of the subtitles. It allows you to turn on and off the names of people who are speaking. Throughout most of the game, you see okay, this is Kate talking, okay, this is your partner Jesse talking. But you can also turn that off in the accessibility features setting so you have less information to make the dialogue clearer to you. You can also turn on or off timed levels. Now, there's only one timed level in Viewfinder. That's the final level where you're trying to deactivate the failsafe. You also can turn on or turn off haptics, so controller vibrations. You also can adjust photosensitivity mode, so that way there are less flashing lights, because part of the game as you progress is that you have to use the you have to use cameras with a timer to take selfies of yourself to be able to use to teleport around the place. Now, beyond the philosophical questions that Viewfinder has, I will say that I did not use any of the accessibility options because the controls were fairly simple. I mean, I played it on PC. I know it's available on PlayStation 5, but the controls were fairly straightforward. And also, and just in general, it flowed really nicely. Now, beyond the philosophical questions that Viewfinder poses and beyond the accessibility features, what else do I want to talk about in regards to it? It's theming. The use of cameras and photographs is really clever. People say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, it's worth a whole lot more when you're able to pick up a picture and literally walk inside of it. Viewfinder is not a hard game by any means. I definitely had a few moments when I was scratching my head trying to figure out what I needed to do. But once I figured it out, I didn't feel dumb for not realizing it. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, that's so not well explained. No, there were genuine eureka moments that felt really rewarding. And that's all I've got to say about Viewfinder. Hope you guys enjoyed, because I enjoyed making it. See you guys next week when we talk about Fae Farm, a cute farming game about fairies in a magical island, but a game that I've got a lot to talk about. Strap in for this one next week, guys.